Shalom, shalom. Kal halalim la Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone, and shalom to the prophets of that body. Shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3. May peace and blessings be upon your households. Okay? And time is extremely short. Okay? And when I say time is extremely short, I've recorded footage of chariots. I remember during a Passover, maybe a year, just over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, there was a chariot above my house. And it was translucent, but you could see a neat circle above my home. Okay? And various of the visions and dreams that I've had, I made videos over it over a period of time. But I'm not going to go into it now, but time is extremely short. This recent chariot sighting, where was it again? In Greece, right? Where the lights were flickering. I've seen the same thing approximately, where I recorded it from my bedroom window. And I did upload it, whether people have watched it or not is another story. But time is extremely short. And the Lord can wake up the elect, whatever circumstances are, that they're in. All right, even on the 11th hour. Right? But there's a lot of our people, right, that have the, that are going to be deleted on this side. Okay? Yes, we are a numerous nation, but a lot of our people that some of them think they're, so-called white people, they might be, pale Italians, they might be, so-called Irish gypsies, travelers, and that, which are basically ninjas anyway. They're a bunch of thieving motherfuckers. You know what I mean? For the most part, they've got derogatory words for them in the UK. They're called pikeys. Typical. Just like a YN, but it's in a different package. You got a lot of our people that grew up in different cultures, don't know who they are, but they feel a little different when they're around the people that they assume they are their people, because they're actually Israelites. But a lot of our people are going to die on this side, not knowing that they're actually Jake. All right. We may know they're Jake, but we can tell through the spirit. And sometimes there's a little bit of a look on them, like you might have a Polish or a Russian Jake that looks like a so-called white guy with the white boy features, but he might have Negro features, the wide nose and the strong jawline and curly, kinky hair, but he'll swear he's a white guy. Motherfucker might be 6'5", looking like Dolph Lundgren, but with the Negro features, but pale skin and blue eyes. Sometimes the Lord just allows that, where that Jakeness shows, even though I understand it's not just an outward appearance. They're going to die on this side, man, because they believe in all sorts of bullshit, right? Because we are the most numerous nation on the planet Earth, pursuant to Hosea 1 and 10. Salakia, if I'm going into a bit of a, digressing too much, but, I'm just trying to build up to what I'm about to say, is that a lot of our people are going to be deleted on this side, because if you are in 2025 still believing in Santa Claus, Halloween, Tooth Fairy, and all that bullshit, you are not part of that number. Okay? Romans 11 and 7. For what then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. And pursuant to Romans 10 verse 2, our people have, a form of righteousness, but they don't have it according to knowledge. They always say God is good all the time. They don't know the Lord's name. They're calling that Jeebus bullshit. They're trying to do good to people by giving food and shelter and clothes to the homeless, not knowing that homeless person that looks decrepit right now could have been a child molester, could have been a rapist, could have been a drug dealer, 30 years ago. It could have been an Edomite in his 70s who's homeless now. Could have been helping his father to lynch ninjas back in the day, or beat them or whatever, when he was a child, or, he's 4 or 5 years old, and I don't know, in the early 60s or whatever. A lot of people are being punished because you don't get away from what you've done. Galatians 6 verse 7. But they try and help. You reap what you sow. But then our people just think that, okay, just by giving up somebody a plate of food, or they're going to get a place on a chariot, or they're going to get a place in the kingdom of heaven. It don't work like that. You've got to be pre-chosen. You've got to be pre-selected. Like on the left-hand side, you got these damn presidents and prime ministers that are pre-selected from child. They're 16 years old. They're in some kind of society, and they're chosen to be presidents and prime ministers. They're pre-selected, right? On the left-hand side, because this is their world. But the elect of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yashai, the 144, and the 1/3 have been pre-selected. All right, way back when. All right, before they were in their mother's womb, before they were in their before they were in their father's nutsack. All right. Okay, they've been chosen in the spirit. Okay, but a lot of our people are going to die on this side because Jake, right? Let's go to the verse of the day. This is what triggered it. Not triggered it, but you know what I mean. The Most High Yahweh Shemeshai is my strength and power, and He maketh my way perfect. That's 2 Samuel 22 and 33, right? Now, our people, we call upon Yahweh Shemeshai, right? Our people believe anything. They'll call the Most High Sky Daddy. They call, they'll make mockery of the chariots. Aliens are going to come out to save you people. They'll make mockery of that. They'll make fun of our elders and prophets, making fun of their garments, making fun of what the kind of jobs they do, when a lot of them actually do have some nice jobs and are quite skilled individuals, and even if they do Uber Eats or driving, so what? They earn their daily bread and they're covered by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yashai, right? And a lot of our people, man, they just make mockery of the truth. They make fun of the name, all right? Because it's so indoctrinated with the bullshit Esau gave them, spoon-fed them, since the chattel slavery up until now, modern day slavery. These idiots do not believe the truth. But they'll believe anything but the truth, all right? Let's go to that video I had lined up. Where is it? Yeah. And you know how the so-called black woman is, isn't it, right? Now, if the so-called white man is Batman, right? In carnality, this is his world, the weaponry and shit, because Batman doesn't have no spiritual powers, right? His sidekick is Robin, and Robin would be a so-called black woman, right? Because she was tempted by the serpent, right? Okay, and the same way she's tempted by the serpent today, and she is in the vibration of the serpent, the so-called white man, right? And the serpent today will be the so-called white man on planet Earth. All right, that fork-tongued devil, right? And now as we're coming towards the close of 2025, and what is it now? October approaching. Obviously, you know what's going to happen, right? Halloween bullshit, Thanksgiving bullshit, Christmas bullshit. I don't know about this tooth fairy shit. This basically is pretty much all year round. When a child's tooth falls out. And these are all basically demons, right? And how old is this news? Let me see. Oh, this is 4 years ago. I thought it was recent. Well, nevertheless, okay. What's her name? She's from Kamisha Malone, is a mom of 4, registered nurse, blogger, now children's book author, okay? Now, our people believe in anything but the truth, all right? Now, if in 2025 or even 2020 or even all the way up until now, if you putting Christmas trees in your house and you believe in this bullshit, you don't believe in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yashai, you have not been chosen, man. You've just been born in vain, man, to die on this side. Now the Lord can pull you out of this truth. I mean, Salakia. The Lord can pull you out of this truth. That's true. And the Lord can, because we've seen certain people fall by the wayside, right? But the Lord can also pull you out of this madness as well and bring you into the truth. All right? All right? It's a two-way street. So it's a very, very, a very scary situation to be in, Because we've seen some videos of individuals that I've seen teaching, and now they're all bugged out. And you look at their countenance and their skin tone, it's like before they had like this bright glow. Now it's been taken away. They've got this dark cloud over them, man. And dreadlocks and shit. And it's a scary fucking thing. But I'm going to play this video before I keep yapping on. Salakia for that. I guess I'm a talker, Salakia for that. Let's go. And look at the madness of our people. And by the way, Saint Nicholas was an actual so-called black man in Russia. Okay, he didn't come down chimneys. He just basically helped uh, the children that were uh, weren't in such favorable conditions, I believe. All right, the real Saint Nick was a so-called black man. All right, in Russia or in Prussia. All right, but this Santa Claus is basically Satan's Claus, dressing in red, crimson, red, guilty, caught red-handed. Is basically a child, Molester. That's all it is. It's basically Satan coming down the chimney like a damn demon into your house. You're letting strangers into your household, right? So you're getting little children comfortable with strangers and believing in fucking demons. They don't want to believe in the Most High. They don't want to believe in angels. They just believe in demons and made up fucking characters and actually literal demons as well.
Santa meets the Tooth Fairy. Once upon a time, there was a peppermint-scented fairy. Santa meets the Tooth Fairy. Once upon a time, there was a peppermint-scented fairy named Terry.
St. Louisan Kamisha Malone is a mom of four, registered nurse, blogger, and now children's book author.
On Christmas Eve, a boy named Miles had a loose tooth. He wiggled it and wiggled it. He jiggled it and jiggled it.
She just released her first book, Santa Meets the Tooth Fairy, available at local bookstores.
What inspired it was actually a family friend, their child.
And guarantee you, right? Okay, so-called black women in droves bought her book. Guaranteed. They can say, let's support the queen, let's support the sister, blah, blah, blah. And guaranteed they bought her book. Okay? Because certain, so-called black women, when it comes to business and doing wickedness, eating pork on camera, shrimp, crab, and lobster, all this kind of bullshit, they're going to be rewarded on YouTube. They're going to get them fat checks every month. They're going to be rewarded. They're going to be rewarded for this. And remember, this is a couple of years ago now. And certain black women are still progressing, but a lot of them are falling by the wayside as well. And women in general. All right. Now it's nice to see a family environment. You see Jake, her husband, there, 4 children. She's a nurse. They got a household. They live a normal, what you call like a normal life, meaning man, woman, children, the way the Lord intended. But what they're doing is madness in terms of, look at the bullshit they're spewing, man. Santa meets a tooth fairy. And she's reading that bullshit to her son. All right? When when they should be, learning the truth from the apostles and teachers, man, online. We are in a position where we can view our teachers from different parts of the world. All right? I'm in the UK, and I started watching the apostles. They're based in America. I don't live in America. If it wasn't for the blessing of Yahweh Shemashai, to bless, I believe, a certain Jake in Nigeria to create the internet, right? We wouldn't have these. We wouldn't have this truth. So the internet was created to push the truth, man. And that's what it's created for. The rest of the other stuff that's added to the internet, or the rest of the nonsense, that's just bullshit. The internet was created, as Elder Apostle Gabar would say, I believe he said this, the internet is there to push the heavy load of the truth, something like that, along those lines. It's basically to push the truth, right? Look at this madness.
Actually lost a tooth on Christmas Eve one year, and then the following year it happened to my son. He actually lost a tooth the same night,
which got her thinking, what happens when everyone is asleep and Santa and the Tooth Fairy come on the same night? Her kids wondered what that meeting was like too, and helped their mom write the book.
One Christmas Eve night, she received a magical buzz on her fairy phone to go to a young boy's house. His name is Miles. But once arriving there, she actually bumped into Santa. So that was quite an experience. And I won't give away too much because there is
Now, what do parents always say? Don't lie to me. Don't tell me false tales. Don't tell me fibs. Don't tell me white lies. Don't tell me lies. Tell me the truth. The truth will set you free. Don't they always say that? Especially our people that are in wacky-tacky Christianity. These same people probably eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, go on a Sunday to that wicked church praying to Caesar Borgia, right? And then they tell their children these lies, these made-up lies, these stories about demons and fairies and Satan Claus coming down the chimney, right? But then they want their children to be productive in society and to be truthful and to be honest when they push these lies, man. This woman is just ultimately a wicked woman, man. You know? If you're going to push this shit in this era now, in 2020, 2025, or whatever, especially now we're approaching the end, man, you are stuck in a shit. You are basically like quicksand, man. You know, like people get stuck in quicksand, you know? And the Lord may have mercy on you and chuck, let a branch fall on the quicksand so you can pull yourself out of the situation. The Lord might not chuck this branch with, people like this, man. You know? Let's carry on.
Surprise twist at the end. So you have to be sure to check that book out.
Santa Meets the Tooth Fairy is more than just a cute story. Kamisha wanted to make a positive impact with her book.
With the main character being African American, I did want to highlight that and highlight the importance of that representation.
The Cooperative Children's Book Center tracks diversity in children's books.
So the Tooth Fairy is a so-called black woman. Well, and the Tooth Fairy is a demon, right? Did they use that demon, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who's an Israelite, to play a Tooth Fairy? That dumb nigga was wearing a dress. They all do these rituals, man. All of them. Every single one of them. Look at all your favorite so-called black and Hispanic and Native Indian actors and showmen. Okay? They've all worn a dress or they acted like a Momo. All right? You got Mike Epps in the first Sopranos episode. There's a couple of the first series, I believe. I ain't seen him in a dress, though. But every single one of them have worn a dress. Even Eddie Griffin. All of them have done it, bruv. All of them. All right? And now she's pushing what? She wanted to make the Tooth Fairy, project, How's that a positive image, man? For a brown child or an Israelite child or Israelite-looking child or an Israelite-looking person or a character to be portrayed as a demon. The fucking Tooth Fairy.
And in 2018, found 10% of the stories published featured African American characters.
We felt that it was kind of time to change that statistic and make a positive impact. And with Terry being African American and our other characters being ethnically ambiguous, we felt that it would make our story more relatable and realistic and give the readers and.
So basically, make these characters look more like Jake so they can relate to Jake characters so Jake can be stuck in that fucking bullshit of simplicity and lies because they're looking at people that look like themselves and all these characters are either Satan claws or fucking tooth fairies or other demons. All right? She ain't going to make a book about the Messiah looking like a so-called black man, pushing positive images if you want to push it that way, right? She don't want to do that, but she wants to push what? Satan claws. Okay, which is correct if you look at it that way. Satan claws is a cracker, right? In his counterpart on is Esau on his planet Earth, and then she's pushing demonic images, of brown characters, that are demons.
Children of the world, just the opportunity to be celebrated, recognized, represented, and just enjoy this wonderful experience in this book.
You can find the paperback on Amazon.
For kids,
it was kind of time to.
You see the madness. And how can you believe this stuff in 2025? 2025, Jake is still believing in this shit, following this shit, and the truth is everywhere. Right? Imagine going on YouTube, you see the apostles, you see our prophets teaching, and you see the thumbnails there, right? And you don't click on that, but you click on, The Night Before Christmas, or Halloween Hoorah, or some kind of fucking show, or comedy show or something, Now, Jake and the Truth might watch these shows as well, but like I might watch Home Alone, which is a good movie. I might watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase. That's a classic. It's a comedy movie. I might watch it just for the entertainment's sake, but I know it's bullshit. I know there are Edomites in that show, and I know Christmas is some bullshit, but I just watch it for the what? Entertainment, right? But Jake's out here actually watch this shit and actually believe that it's real. Satan Claus is real. Jeebus or the Messiah was born on 25th of December. They actually believe, and young children, especially little girls, will see little Jake girls with fairy outfits on and actually believe that, the Tooth Fairy is a brown woman or a so-called black woman. portraying Jake in negative images. But they don't want to make books on what the Messiah looks like, what the Most High looks like, what the Messiah looks like as so-called black men, right? Or what the prophets look like, what the apostles look like. She don't want to make a book on that. That ain't going to sell. They want to push these lies, man. And it's always this, either some crazy black woman or Hispanic woman or Native Indian woman pushing this bullshit, or it's, one of those Afrocentric bug outs, man, pushing some other nonsense about Egypt. Egypt, Egypt, Egypt. Now, our people want to believe in everything but the truth, man, which goes to show, hey, they were just born in vain. Simple as that, man. Now, if you're gravitating towards the truth, man, and you're curious about it, and you have that spiritual knock, being, the Lord is knocking on your brain. Hello, anybody home? And you're being pulled like a magnet, right, towards the truth. I urge you, right, while the time is there, while the internet is still live and popping, while the apostles are there teaching, to watch this truth, get the name, and be pulled in. John 15, is it John 15, 16? Let me say the right one, I don't want to quite incorrect. John 15, 16, King James Version. Yeah, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. The Lord has to choose you. You can't make yourself believe in the truth. All right? And I'm not bigging myself up. I didn't grow up with a Bible in my household. I didn't even know what the Lord's name was. I didn't even know what an Israelite was coming up. I had no idea, but I always believed in the Most High. I always believed in a higher power, Like when my grandma died in the 80s, I went to the fair, got a balloon with a helium in it. I wrote a letter to my grandma. I attached it to there. I asked my mom, said, Mom, I want to write a letter to my nan. I attached it to the balloon and I let it go up in the sky because I knew that she went to the Most High. She died and her spirit went. I was a child, right? Must have been 7, 8 years old. We're talking early 80s, right? But then lo and behold, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yashai, I have the name. I know the prayers, some of them in the Lashon Kodash, by heart. I can't write it, but I know it by heart. And the Spirit lets me know it's truth. And it all fits together like a jigsaw puzzle in my mind. So the Lord is merciful. So Brakti Yahabashim Yashai, Tawada, Lord, for making me an Israelite, and Tawada, for blessing me with your name, Lord. Isaiah 55 and 6. Let's go a little bit lower here. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Okay? Call the Lord, man. Call upon the Lord. And it's a scary thing to be in a predicament where the Lord hasn't chosen you, man. You're a Jake, but the Lord hasn't chosen you. But you still believe in these worldly activities. You believe in the bullshit of this world. And then you wonder why, you're in the predicaments that you're in. Verse 7, let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. Okay? Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and he will have mercy, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God or power, for he will abundantly pardon. Okay? I mean, when you compare how your life was before you went the truth, yeah, you got certain blessings, but you were wicked, you behaved wickedly, and didn't you get more punishments? Didn't you go through hell? Didn't some of your worst nightmares happen? I'll give you an example. Yeah, like your woman stepping out on you. You used to see that in movies as a child. Say, shit, man, that's a fucked up predicament to be in. And then it actually happens to you 20 years later. It's a fucked up situation, isn't it? And then you come into the truth. That could still happen, though. But the Lord gives you the spirit to deal with it, And then you come out of it quick because the Lord blesses you straight after, or a little while after, But if you compare it, you still go through hell, but you go through hell where the Lord has given you a way to escape. And the Lord has given you that balm as well to put on your aches and pains spiritually, physically, mentally, even financially. You know? You understand what I'm trying to say? Jake and the Truth will understand what I'm trying to say, man. You know? Like, I think it's Elder Mike Allah, of, is it the West? There's so many, the camps are so deep. Yeah, I think he's the Gadite brother. He's quite tall, and it was the one where the brothers were together. One of my favorite camps as well, right? And where there was an angel behind them with a turban on, with a mitri on. You know, kind of looked like my grandfather, because he used to wear a mitri as well. You know, long beard and all that, mustaches turned up. He put that mustache cream on, you know, to turn his mustaches up like a, you know, that pirate style look, right? Yeah, and he said, you know, that he's got more things than he had when he was in the world, but you still go through hell. Those things are given just to keep you balanced out, you know. But we know that, you know, we're not going to take nothing with us, and we still hate this world, right? And this is what's going to happen to a lot of you people out there, man. God is good all the time. Jeebus, 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 bouncing your hand with the tambourine and all that, you know, going on a Sunday all polished up, you know what I mean? And you know, you've had a session that you're all high and shit. You're probably smoking a cigarette, you know. You probably got like pork chops in the oven or something at home, ready for your family Sunday lunch or whatever, you know. You got lawful foods and you got some unclean shit thrown in the mix, you know. Grandma, dad, uncle, your dad's brothers are going to be around the table. You know, you're going to have your Sunday lunch or whatever, you know, and you think you're doing right. But the Lord ain't going to help you, because the Lord doesn't, you know, bless those unclean get-togethers. You know, the Lord doesn't, you know, the solemn assemblies you think they are solemn, they're not solemn. They're unclean. The Lord doesn't deal with that. You know, Judges 10:14. This is what's going to happen to you because you cry unto those other gods. You know that, you know, neither your forefathers have known. You know, even wood and stone. Paraphrasing scripture there. Judges 10:14. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation. All right? And this is serious shit. You could be relaxing at home. Everything's lovely. You know, family's on point. You know, it's a Saturday morning. It's relaxed. You know, you're waking up in the bed with your woman. Your woman is relaxed. You know what I mean? Your children are sleeping in the bed. The house is clean, smelling good. You know, and you're relaxing in bed. You think, oh, I'm gonna do this today. I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna just chill in bed. I'm gonna have a shower, just jump back in bed again with a big breakfast and watch this Netflix series. You know, and what's gonna happen? Boom! The door's kicked open. Stormtroopers coming in. Super soldiers coming in. You know, you take your beautiful wife away. You think I've got a day off today. I'm gonna do this and that to her. So like, I know it's a Sabbath, but you know how it is, man. When Jake is in a comfortable situation, when you know it's a Saturday morning, you got a day off. You know, you know they're gonna take your beautiful wife. Your daughter just turned 19 last week. You know, she's very attractive. They take her. Some of the soldiers, you know, I hate to say it, you know, it's all foul, but everything's foul. Even they're going to grape the women, of course. They may even grape you, and they may even grape your sons, because there's a lot of booty bandits out there that are in uniform, as well as that are not going to be without uniform. And you're going to be calling upon who? And the Lord said it. Judges 10:14 again. Go and cry unto the gods. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation. You know, call upon them. Let's see if they help you. You know, all these wacky tacky churches. If you see where they got jeebus coming out, you see ants, creepy crawlies coming out of the woodwork, out of the bottom of the tiles. Why? Because that building is infested with demons, and the Lord said He doesn't. Let me get that scripture. The Lord doesn't live in buildings made with hands. King James Version. Salakia. You know, I had to paraphrase it because sometimes, and so AI doesn't. Acts 7:48. Howbeit, the Most High Yahweh B'Hashem Yahshai dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet. The Lord doesn't reside there, man. What did the Lord say? Earth is my throne. No, heaven is my throne, earth is my footstool. Think about that. Heaven is my throne, earth is my footstool. So the Lord doesn't reside in buildings like that. And then you're calling upon false gods. Then you're calling upon these wicked statues you got in there, idol worship of wood and stone. Be in Mecca, you got them bugs coming out, infesting Mecca, the so-called holy city, which is not, it's unholy. You got all these temples, Buddhist temples, these wacky tacky churches, these demons coming in there, all these little insects and lizards and shit infesting the place, people running out of the place, or some people staying in the church to try and pray those insects and creepy crawlies away. Yeah, but that doesn't happen to the scriptures. Sorry, that doesn't happen to the truth, or even any kind of building Jake has to teach the truth to a congregation, like when the elders taught in One West 30 years ago, that building wasn't infested with bugs and stuff. It was actually protected, when it went on the street, our prophets are protected, Psalms 34 verse 7, the angels are round about, the elect, all right, the angels are around about his chosen. Psalms 34 verse 7. Yeah. So call upon on the gods that day. All right. Let's see if they help you. Judges 10:14 again. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation. Let them deliver you. Let's see if they help you that day. Let's see if I've got any other scriptures. All right. Before you elect. Psalms 50 and 15. Right. Psalms 50 and 15. And call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. And how do you call upon the Lord in the day of trouble? How do you say? Do you say, hello, God, help me? Hello, Most High, help me? The Lord has a name, right? The way you have a name, right? So how do you call upon the name? How do you call upon? The Lord said, call upon me. How do you call upon the Lord? Acts 4 and 12. There's only one name under heaven that we must be saved. And that name is Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Because pursuant to the book of Ecclesiasticus, the elect shall call upon the name. And the name is the salvation. There's salvation in the name. All right. And the elect are going to call upon the name because they believe in the name and they've been pre-selected and pre-chosen, and they will be delivered. Psalms 50 and 15. And call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But you others out there, man, that, where is that video again? That believe in this bullshit, because Jake wants to believe in anything and everything but the truth of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahshai. All right? Brakti Habashem Yahshai, 1144. All right? Jake wants to believe in anything and everything but the truth. So call upon on those gods on that day, because that time is coming, because time is short. All right? But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. All praise to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahshai, B'Hashem Rakak Wadash, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwam Yashra Shalom.